Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday, June 3rd, 2026. How is everybody? Russell, Colin, Gary, good afternoon. Gabriel, how are you doing? Good afternoon. All right. Okay. Um, you bought out the shop because I weren't there. It was all. You didn't buy out the entire shop. I was a little disappointed. Um, so yeah, so it was funny because I had the one King of Pen left in stock, and I was on the fence whether or not I wanted to keep this. Lisa had offered it to me as a birthday present, and in a true Japanese fashion, um, I denied. I denied the gift at least twice, if not three times. And usually on the fourth try, then you go, okay, well that's fine, I'll take it. And I wasn't sure I wanted it, but I took it off the website. I said, you know what? I'll take it off the website. If somebody's really interested in this pen, they will email. They'll sign up for back in stock notification. I'll find out how serious they are. And if by Christmas, I realize it's 6 months away. By Christmas, nobody wants it, then I'll keep it. Simple. It's like what? It's 2 weeks, and Colin's like, yeah, I'm interested in that King of Pen. So, after much soul searching, or at least 5 minutes worth, I decided I'd rather Colin have it than myself. And that's that. As it turned out today, I was sorting through some of my pens here in the shop, I'm constantly trying to get organized because there's a constant flow of pens in and out. And I came across a quite nice Parker 61 Flighter. No, like 61's like, it's way, way late for me. Way late. I usually don't collect that kind of stuff, but that 61 Flighter is something special, I like the stainless steel look. I like the Parker Falcon 50s. Last year I got myself I finally completed after at least 5 or 8 years, a 51 Flighter by having the cap first and then finding a barrel with an incorrect cap. And so I finally got a 51 Flighter last year. I thought, you know what, and I found this, and I looked at it. It's in a stack of trays of pens that I started to look at or started to repair, and then ran into an issue and then had to stop for whatever reason. Section didn't come out, cap was broken, the barrel broke, putting a new section in. Any number of things. I said for certain there's something wrong with this pen. The nib is bent or something, because I know I had a couple 61s that looked great, but when you take the cap off, it's like a fude. And for whatever reason, nothing wrong with the pen. So I said, you know what? This will be my consolation prize. I'll keep the 61 Flighter, and I'll throw it in the meager collection. So King of Pen 61 Flighter. It is minty though. It's really, really, really minty 61. So anyway, that's what's cooking here. Just got in a ton of new TWSBI, rather large box, including a couple of models that I previously forgot to order, but I had basically all set up and ready to go on the website. So white rose gold 580s, iris of X700s, and what was the third one? Something else. 580 ALR nickel gray. So I believe I have every current 580 Eco T and VAC 700 that's in the catalog. So finally after, what is that, 9 months, finally got everything up and running. So anyway, almost was late because of that, but when, you know, UPS drops off a huge box of Twisby, you got to stop what you're doing and check it in. All right, what's cooking today? Today we have a couple of customer repairs we are going to finish up on. Let me grab those. We are going to have our fingers crossed that this little pocket pen doesn't leak. We're going to look at this this Montblanc. Nib is still a little bit down on the right tine. See if we can get that straight. It's somewhat flexible. So sometimes those things, they kind of, you know, they're really hard to get in position. But when you touch them down on paper, they even out if you touch them down. And so we'll see what happens there. Hope that one goes back together real well. That will be nice. Then we're going to finish up on this tray. We're going to grab some good Esterbrook nibs. We're not going to use these Osmoroid nibs. I don't like to use used Osmoroid nibs whenever possible, unless they look really, really good. And this Williamson's Stylo, which is kind of a cool pen. Lever filling, hard rubber. 1920s. Kind of a nice little piece. So we're going to do that, and then if time permits, which time should permit, depends how finicky the first two are. This is the next tray. The next batch, we've got another full-size balance. We got a couple snorkels. Looks like a touchdown. Another inexpensive touchdown. I love these. These are actually really, really cool pens. This one actually might even work, but we'll replace the sack on it and the seals on it anyway. We got a nice 51 burgundy gold filled cap. That's got a small issue. We got a 51 special in green. The cutest little Wahl 0 ring top you've ever seen. Polish that up. And this one I just need to test. This is a very interesting pen. This is a Sailor Prophet 21. So this is a very early version, if not the first version. I have to check my records. Very first version of the 1911 with the 21 karat nib. And they called it Prophet 21 on the cap band. And this is actually standard size with that 21 karat nib. It's kind of a cool variation on the early 1911s. It's got that gold trim band at the end of the section, and it's got the early, or what I call now the old style nib. So this one, I probably needs to be cleaned. I don't really know. I just got this in. I may or may not abscond with this one too. So sometimes that's the bonus. You're looking through it, and what Lisa calls you shop from your stash when times are tough. Not that times are tough, but you shop from your stash. It's kind of free. It's kind of free. You don't have to buy anything extra. You've already got the pens. So we'll get to that later today. But let's start out with this tray here. Let's do this pocket pen. Tiny ink capacity, so there's really not going to be a whole lot cooking. Busy morning here with phone calls. You finally got USPS to locate a package they had misplaced, I guess, on SC for 5 days, and it's on its way, and it's only been with a couple of big other packages headed to me. Okay, good. Okay, that looks good. Huh? Just dropped my glasses. Hang on. Gotta find a better place for my glasses here on the bench. And not the ones on my head. So your podcast is estimating using ultrasonic cleaner. What solution is best to use? Water. Pure, plain water. Try that first. As with many things in life, try not to overcomplicate things. Water doesn't work, then you proceed on to other means. Water usually does the trick. Kerosene. No, not kerosene. This nib has really got some. There we go. I think we got it. It's got some spring to it. Wait, and finally TNT. Yeah, no. No, Gary, yeah, just do water. The action of the ultrasonic itself will really do kind of what you need it to do. And I should add cold water. If you have an ultrasonic or you're shopping for one, sometimes you don't have a choice, but heat does not play a factor into pen cleaning whatsoever. So don't pay extra for a machine that has heat or that offers a dial for heat, a heat setting, anything like that. You won't need it. You shouldn't need it. Especially on a hot day, even if you have air conditioning, or if you don't set your air conditioning brutally cold, that whole action of the ultrasonic operating will warm up the water. So you don't need heat. In fact, if it gets too hot, you want to either drain it. Yeah, they generate heat. You either want to drain it or especially turn it off. because it can cause damage to some of your parts. I normally like to pull these buttons. This one doesn't want to pull out. Did I see what you did earlier today? No, what did I miss? Oh, you say a long national nightmare is finally over. I'm checking the news. It's not the nightmare I was expecting. You bought a root beer. Oh, I think I just pulled it. I was doing a little cleanup in the shop and I just put them away. Okay, there's a ridge. In the barrel. I'm going to put this way. It's a nice color. It's really pretty. You bought a Lamy disco so you can dance on it? Dance with it. There we go. It's very tight. I'm going to heat up this section a little bit too. There's some scratch marks on there. Maybe we can get those to pop out. That works. problem I have is when I start cleaning, then it's like, 2 weeks away from some pen show, and then there's more mess here. Let's see if I can even get this in this jar. I can even get this. Super hard to even get this thing loaded up. I don't know how much ink I actually have in here. My bottle is at a weird spot. It's almost too low for this to fill, but it's too full for me to tip it and fill it up. And so I end up getting ink on my thumb, which doesn't help. A surprisingly good nib with very little pressure. I can go from. I mean, the key on this one is being light. It's easy to be broad. I'm going to cap this for now. And put that like that. People must be starting to get together for the Dutch show this weekend and the Raleigh show, which starts on Friday, I believe. Yeah, I think Juicy was going to the Dutch show. Yeah, so this Montblanc's got some. Little tight. There we go. They should send me a 55-gallon drum of ink. I'm doing okay. I'm down, although I am down to my last 3 bottles of Waterman that I picked up at that estate sale. What was that, last year? That'll work. Now I had multiple conversations with Lisa, including one this morning, that when she's in Denmark on her trip, said if you go to an antique store and they have pens, you buy every single pen they have. It said, I will go to the bank. I will put more money in the bank You buy every single pen you can find. I think she was mostly in agreement with that. I said, I will take the money that I have set aside for the DC Pen Show, and we'll borrow from that if we have to. Oh, no, what happened here? Oh, this got off kilter. There we go. Now, why did that do that? I don't see any leakage coming out of it. What is a stiff lever filler? If you order anything from another country, you have to call your bank for them to lift the restriction on other countries from charging to your card. Yeah, she'll have like the company card and things like that, but apparently she already has Danish kroner. Or her mother has it for her. Pen Addict, how you guys doing? To you, Lee. Good evening. How you doing? What's cooking over on Pen Addict today? I don't know if this little guy's going to fit in my... Might not be able to get him out. He fits like all the way in there. Should we tell him? I don't want to know. Uh-oh. Get a cigarette and a glass of wine. Crazy. Cigarette and a glass of wine? Am I missing something? Is there something in the news? Let's cook it, man. Somebody let me in on the deal. Do I cook when Lisa's gone, or is it just frozen dinners and takeout? I don't really do takeout much. I do cook. Lotus pen drop. Look up Lotus siren. Oh no. Oh no. There we go. It's only fair. Don't plead the fifth. No, I do cook. I'm probably not going to spend much time eating though, because I'll probably, Lisa will be gone, so it'll be a good excuse to be on my bike most of the time. Mama Hobbit, thanks for the follow. All right, we got to look this up. What's going on here? Let me spin up this Montblanc here. Oh, thanks for the link. I don't have to look it up. All right, what do we got here? Instagram. Before I... Oh, yeah. I saw this morning. I saw that. Oh, my God. That's something. Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. It's a cute little green pen. Yeah, isn't it, though? It's been problematic almost from the start. It's this cute little vintage pocket pen, like bullet size, and it's got this ribbing on the end here to help it post. It doesn't really post. I don't want to jam it on there too much. It's just kind of a cute little thing with a gold nib. Have I been riding? Yeah, I've been trying. I'm going on vacation next week. Like Wednesday through Saturday. So I'm out, and I really try to stick to, last 3 years I've tried to stick to, last 2 years is 120 miles a week. 10,000 kilometers. It gets me 10,000 kilometers by the end of the year. And so I'm pretty religious about 6 days a week, 20 miles a day at least. So I'm ahead so far for the year. I'm about 100 miles ahead where I should be for the year. And, I'll lose a little bit next week when I'm gone. But then the following week, Lisa's actually going to be in Denmark for, I forget how many days, 10 days maybe. So I'll be all alone. There'll be nothing to do except for, feed the cats and come into work. And I don't necessarily have to, I sort of already thought about it. I don't have to be here the same hours I normally am here. But I can ride my bike, and I might ride my bike in next week because the weather's nice, unless it rains, or in 2 weeks, I guess. I don't need to drive the car because I don't have to go in at, I don't have to come in on Thursday at 7 a.m., So, I think I'm going to polish up this section a little bit on this Montblanc. It's such a nice pen. It's really pretty. Let's see if we can make it a little better. Make it a little bit nicer. So yeah, I'm still riding. I do primarily all on Zwift these days, so You won't see me outside battling with the elements. Or the pickup trucks. Or cars. I should have done this before when I had it out and I had the nib out. Or at least when I had the nib in and out of the pen, but you know, to try to at least heat it up. But I didn't want to heat it too much. And it got pretty hot and not much was cooking, so we'll just do a light pass here and see if we can make it better. My commute here by bike, though, is like, it will be 90%, excuse me, is it's a multi-use path. So I don't usually see a lot of people riding on it, so I could really kind of get a decent chunk of speed. I'm actually looking forward to it. It's about 4.5 miles one way. So that week that's 2 weeks from now, I may modify the streaming schedule, so maybe have it earlier in the day. Yeah, I did see that Lotus pen this morning. I thought, man, I don't know if it was just my brain but apparently not. Everybody else saw it too. Get one of those hats you can load up the cans with the feeder tube to your mouth and bike away across the country. I used to have one of those Camelbacks. Except you could never get it clean. It always tasted like plastic. Yeah, those are really deep scratches. I think this one might come out. But no, Lisa's gone. I'll cook. It's never really anything elaborate, but somebody must have used pliers or something. Thankfully, they stopped before they got too far. You too, they force the bladder designs to force you to buy a new one. I just, and the other thing I didn't like about it is when I bought it, well, I was much younger than I am now, but I lived in Florida. And, the one thing about them is like you could get them in pretty much any color you wanted as long as you wanted the carrier for the bladder in black. Well, let me tell you, man, you sweat like the bejesus underneath that thing, because that thing, your Camelback is 21 years old and bladderless. It suck up all the heat from the Florida sun. And, I didn't mind riding in the outdoors, when it's, 90 degrees. There's something, kind of refreshing about it because I always drank a lot. Still do pretty much. But holy cow, you put that black Camelback on your back and you'll lose another 3 pounds. I think I still had it. Believe it or not, I think I still had it. I moved out of Florida in like 2000. And I still had it right up, I think, until I moved a year and a half ago. And I just said, this is stupid. Why do I have this thing? Hey, Stretch. Opry makes a really nice bladder, the entire top open, so it's way easier to clean than a Camelback. Oh, like a big Ziploc or something? That's a lot better. You can't see the mark anymore. Pretty much. Osprey. Oh, okay. I just couldn't get past the, it just, even if you've got a proper jersey on, you can't wick any of that sweat away. It just stays on your skin. So great, now you're hydrated, but you're uncomfortable because you've got this Camelback. Now all I have to do is we call it Team Car Assist. I just text Lisa a picture of a bike followed by a picture of a car, and then she brings up another water bottle. How's that vac working for you, Stretch? Still good? This is a really attractive pen. You just wrote it empty earlier this month. Great. That's what I like to hear. I got a couple of VACs. I should probably ink them up one of these days. I'm not a big VAC fan. I don't know what it is. I guess I like my stripes going the other way. I started collecting pens, and when I started collecting pens, I started collecting Sheaffers, so. But now I'm kind of like a Parker guy, so. Only because I live in the land, All right, we'll keep going on this. We're almost done. Then we can get to those Esterbrook's, that Williamson, and then we can start on the next batch of fun. Person who sent me this, sent me the most beautiful card. It was one of those incredibly elaborate pop-up cards, and when you opened it up, it was like a greenhouse. It's insane. It's got little plants and stuff in it. It was really beautiful. In fact, let me get it. You got to see it. You got to see this thing. It's awesome. So, check this out. I love cards like this. This is a love pop. If you're familiar with those, it's kind of similar to those roses without thorns or whatever they're called. But look at this. Is this not the craziest thing you have ever seen? There's little... It's hard to do it. All these little plants in there. Isn't that something? It's outrageous. And then you pull this, and then there's a little note. He wrote a note in there. But it's just the most adorable thing ever. The people who design these are just they're brilliant. You have an Osprey Qatari for mountain biking. Recently picked up an Osprey Talon for hiking. Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun little card. I was not expecting it. Paper greenhouse. Yeah. At first, when it came, I thought it was an entry for the contest. Because Lisa opened the mail and she was confused. She's like, there's no cardinal on it. So we look in the box and there's this Montblanc in there. I'm like, well, okay. That tracks. All right, yeah, that's looking good. That's looking pretty good. We'll get down. We're at the 6,000 now. We'll get down to 8,000. Probably be. We'll see. We'll try to match it up with the polish that's on the rest of the pen. Anybody in the chat going to the Raleigh show this weekend? Triangle show? I know David is if he's not. If he's in the chat. But anybody else? I might go next year. We'll see. I always had good luck hunting vintage pens at the Raleigh show. This is 8,000 grit. Usually 8,000 is enough to give it what I would consider a period appropriate shine. If I want more, I can go to 12 and then maybe follow up with. Yeah, it's not quite. it wasn't quite as bright in the first place. You can still see the little mark there. You can't barely see the one on the back anymore. Overall, I would say it's an improvement. And sometimes that's what you just want an improvement. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, these pens are how old, right? If you're going to the Raleigh show, my friend David is on a panel discussion with Paul Arano on vintage pens for, I don't know what the official vintage pen tasting, maybe it might be the official term for it. But if you're very interested in vintage pens and you weren't sure where to go, it's a really pretty good panel. We had one in St. Louis last year when I was there, and I sat in on with Paul and Mike and Tim Byler and a couple other folks. And then you know, there's usually a little bit of a, Paul has a list of questions, and he asks the people on the panel, and then there could be questions from the audience, so to speak, and then you can come up and test pens and stuff. So it's kind of fun. If you're curious and you don't know as much as you'd like to. All right, I'm going to put, it's still not quite it's close. It's really close, but you can kind of see that this is much shinier. It reflects. I'm going to put a little bit of microgloss on there, rub it in, buff it out. And then I think this pen is done. This is kind of a, normally I would just use 5. You could use 5 and then 1. This is kind of a mix of, this was an accident. This is 5, and then I left the cap off for like 4 days over a weekend or something, long weekend, and it evaporated and it became kind of sludgy. So I mixed up about half a bottle of number 1. It's never really recovered very well. But once I work my way out of it, then we'll get some fresh stuff in there. I think that's pretty close. That's pretty close. All right, let's see. Let's cover those up. All right, we got, let's finish these guys up here. This Williamson is very interesting. I really, really, really hope it It works. The Stylo seems to be nice and straight and slots in and out. It's your biggest problem with Stylos? Is that needle gets bent and then it doesn't slot in. I wish I knew if this was relation to the Williamson Pen Company in Janesville. And probably more research needs to be made before I get rid of this. I do like the odd brand Wisconsin pen makers. It's just the wording just seems a little bit, the other Williamsons I've seen are Williamson Pen Company, not Williamson's whatever, although this could be the case. I don't know. The beauty of a Stylo is it doesn't matter how you line it up. That's good to go. Try that in a minute. We don't need those. This nib look good. That nib is destroyed, I think. 2550. Anybody want an extra fine nib? I don't think so. Oh, that's, yeah, no way. Let's see. Yeah, no, that's not good. That's not going to work. So I brought up the old box. Let's try this here. What is this? LJ? SJ? There's one. Oh, that looks ugly. Let's see if that cleans up. $95.50 is not a bad nib. We'll see how that one cleans up. I've got 1555 Greg. Actually, I'll clean that one up too. We'll put the 9550 in the gray. We got a 2556 here. We'll put in this Blue Jay, and then in the reds, LJ, SJ, whatever this is, we'll put the 1555. Great imprint, though. Look at this. But where in the U.S. was it made? That's what I want to know. Maybe I don't need a Williamson Stylo. Probably don't. See if this yeah, it's Esterbrook time. Yeah, I haven't done many in a while just because I have so many of them. I don't need to do more. If y'all would buy the ones that I have, then I'll do more. Let's see if that'll come off. This game is part of that collection that I bought, so I attributed some value to them. I want to get that value back, I guess. It's kind of stained on there. We'll get it thorough. A thorough job in a minute. Oh, excuse me. I keep wanting to drink this. This is really not, I wouldn't recommend that. I just got done watching the old AP podcast number 62, by the way. Good humor on that. Aziza Asghari from Gourmet Pens, where we drink ink. That was real fun. I almost forgot we did that. Follow up on the ballpoint desk pen you found. FWT is the pen. That sounds about right. 212 and an 8 ball and 213 with the chain. Was yours with the chain? I can't remember what you said on that. Oh, that's much better. Nope, no chain, yeah. You just took a class with Aziza last weekend? Yeah, 62. That was a real fun, a fun podcast. Boy, I don't like the way this looks. I could just pick another pen, or I could hunt on my desk for my knockout block. You're still looking for info on the Aerometric desk pen? Yeah, I don't know that I found much at all on those. Oh, look, there's another. Well, that's kind of nice. I mean, they clearly made them. Sorry, I gotta looking for this tool of mine. And they also made Phaeton desk pens in Mexico. She used to do calligraphy videos for, yeah, she did. She did Learning Letters, I think it was called. And yeah, I had my two. One was my the Nib Noobs. Yeah, one was, sorry. One was my videographer, my photographer, and then the other was Kim was I guess what, I don't know what her official title was. I guess it was part of the creative team. Well, come on. This is crazy. Sorry, I gotta get up now. Oh, there it is. It's way in the back. I'm gonna knock this nib out to clean it. It's just, I don't think it's gonna clean out very well. You also got an Esterbrook Venus Frankenpen, Black J with the Venus chrome cap, and you stuck a Venus nib in it. Well, I guess that's somewhat fitting, isn't it? Oh, we'll keep that in there. Let's see how bad this looks. As bad as I thought it was going to look. And swishing in the water doesn't even get it remotely clean. So, and look at this. This is why sometimes you can't just even, not even with an ultrasonic. Now, this happens to be one of those renew points that doesn't have a feed channel, but there's all this crap here that is really going to prevent any kind of good flow at all. You picked up a capless dollar pen that had an older 2284 flat feed. Nice. And the pin that holds it together, almost afraid to use it. I mean, you know, 2284's got substantial tipping. Or not tipping, tipping in quotes, I guess. You know, I know it's folded over. But it's a substantial writing surface on it. I don't recommend you try to disassemble them. It's doable, but it's a real nightmare. When you find the old flat feed, especially the really, really flat, the really narrow flat feed nibs, and they have good tipping or they're not completely shot, those are worth hanging on to. Yeah, they're really very nice. Oops. You don't want to try knocking or pressing that pin. Yeah, it's I used to do it. I went through a phase where I was doing that. And I got reasonably okay at it. I had a little wood block that I used. To get the nib in place. But, you know, there was always a chance you were going to break the feed. And if you break the feed, obviously you got the pin's got nothing to go into. But I probably did a half a dozen of them. And then put them in early pens. Oh, it's still pretty nasty. We're just going to take the wire brush to it. I'm spending all this time on this nib. I should just throw it back in the bag. But, I mean, it's got to be fixed sometime. If you just stay away from the tipping, you're really pretty good. If you, it gets most of it off, and then you can look and see if you need to scrape any further with any other. Try one of my new dental picks, huh? All right, let's see. Put that together. Before we do that, don't forget the inside of the collar. It's like taking a shower and then putting your dirty clothes back on. Should have a couple of more pens arriving today to add to your collection. Also expecting a nib to arrive for an oversized balance you're restoring. Oh, the more sound fun, huh? I'm actually looking at them more in an online auction. I don't really need it, but as they say, the price is right. Needs got nothing to do with it. Give it a little heat. And that little crimp pops right back out. If you want, you can press it back in, but a little heat and it just popped. I mean, it's super tight the way it is. It's not coming out. So after all of that, we just hope that that is smooth enough. Well, that was tight. This one had a little bit of a smaller sack, so this extra fine will probably be really great for it. Just make sure your nib is tight. All right. Let's try these guys, and then we can move on to tearing apart some other stuff. Oh, there it is. Fingers crossed on this one. And with the stylo, you typically have to write a little bit more upright. Puts down a pretty heavy line. Let's try it on some Apica. Yeah, moment of truth. Yeah, it really absorbs on here, but it's still a very wet fine. Wet fine. I might actually post in one of the vintage forums on Facebook and see if any of those guys know this is a Williamson product. White's great for a stylo. Oops, I almost spilled the ink. That would have been fun. Works like it should. Holds a ton of ink. Side of the cap's a little. See what we got cooking here. I also picked up a great hard rubber one with gold overlays on the way. What, a more overlay or something else? One of my favorite words in the pen language. Overlay. That's nice. Real crisp. That'll work. It is a more overlay. Nice. Lever fill or safety? You'll do your best at taking Esterbrook's off my hands. We'll see how your side gig goes this month. You've been eyeing a few. You know, so it's funny. What I need to do, and sometimes I'm not the best marketer ever, but when you got a lot of pens, sometimes it's hard to keep up with things. Is I have them in the case, you know, and they're in trays, and then when I sell, you know, when I sell one and there's a hole, you know, and I keep adding, you know, I'm into the next case. I shift everything over, so I get them all nice and tight, and there's, you know, every spot is filled, and it's just easier to work with. It takes me about 20 minutes to do the whole thing, but then what I do is I have all these writing samples, and they're all stapled together in groups on when I listed them. So I've got the date code on the top, and then the number, the suffix. And so, you know, I go through, I'm like, wow, this is a great medium nib, or this is a great extra fine nib. You know, why is this still here? So I look at the writing samples for all of these pens. Every time I move do the pen shuffle here in the shop. Okay, so this is a 2556. So we can see already it is a little bit broader than this 9550. So that tracks. Lever fill overlay. Wow, cool. I should bring a more safety on here one of these days. I haven't restored one in... It's probably been 5 years. But not a lot of parts on them. And there's one that is a royal pain in the butt to get out. All right, last but not least, clean out some of these threads here first. Looks like an LJ is what this looks like. Nice red color on this one. You have 12 mores at the moment. Nice. This is a 1555 Greg. So this is, yeah, this is an LJ. So it's a little bit finer than the 2556. More like an extra fine. Let's maybe do a little bit of... Yeah, it's in good alignment, but it's really, it acts like some of these 1555 Gregs do. Probably time for a new buff stick. If you don't see the results out of your buff stick that you're expecting, then it probably means it's too old. Where the heck are they? Do I have any extras? I'll have to get a new one. I do like to use these small sections around the top because those don't get used as much. All right, those guys are done. You're a bit surprised with the Esterbrook's you have on eBay are not selling as fast as I thought they would, reasonably priced. Yeah, they kind of go in waves. I think the collector market for Esterbrook's has really taken a kind of a bit of a dive. There's not as many people as there used to be that were hardcore collectors. So the rarer pieces are just kind of stagnant. I regularly see Visumasters and the like on the same people's tables at pen shows for the last year. They're not moving. Now, they're about the same price as some of these Yovo sticks that you see. So, you know, I guess one could look at it that way. They're much cooler than a Yovo stick. The Visumaster is, anyway. A little bit of a wayward lever there. We just spread the end of that lever and it's good to go. So we'll spin those out. We'll start the next batch. This is kind of a disaster. We're going to get rid of that. Lisa went looking last weekend for another USB powered salad spinner, but we found none. All right. Those are good to go. That's a cool stylo. Cool cap. I mean, I guess it's not any cooler than any other cap, but nice clip, heavy plating. All right. Next batch. First thing we're going to do. And we're going to take a look at this guy. Early Sailor 1911. Standard, but it has the early cap band. Profit 21K. Trim ring on section, early nib. Hard, medium, fine. So I am going to, it looks clean. I'm going to flush it real quick. Test it, and then decide what I want to do with it. It's a pretty unique piece. I mean, it's not rare by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a hard piece to find here in the US. Yeah, she's clean. Well, it's nice. As it should be. What's my opinion on Eberhard Favor? Vintage pens, I assume you're referring to. They can be, they're really often overlooked. Now, some of them are pretty cheap. Some are pretty cheap, but then there are also some other better quality ones. It just depends on what you're looking at. Most of the ones I've seen were pretty third tier. And I'm not talking Faber-Castell from roughly the same period. Those pens are usually better. We had a really nice one here last winter with an oblique double broad nib. And they're marked like, like Montblancs are marked. Playing with Sailor, what you got? That's a cute little box. What is that? Flowers? I can't even see that. What is that?
Esterbrook.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Lindsay did a ad for Doc. She cleaned it up. So you can see.
Okay.
She's
On my time?
yes, on your time. I told her it was fine. I told her it was there with you. I told her the other owner. I said it was fine.
Oh, okay. Lisa says hi. She comes in when she gets boxes. She brings them over here. Boxes are packing material. She brings them over here. So that's a nice sailor. That's a nice sailor. All right, it's nice. Yeah, don't ask me about wherever. Not the modern wherever. The modern wherever can. I really don't want to. Yeah, don't ask me about wherever. I don't want to say what I think about that. Maybe 50 is an Eberhard favorite. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, the modern wherever is. I honestly hope nobody here buys one of those pens. They're gonna be no good. Don't fall for the marketing hype. Uh-oh. How's the paper you had on your podcast last week doing so far? The Rhodia probably. That's probably what you're I think you're probably talking about. It's doing okay. It's I don't expect it to fly off the shelf. It's a staple, so well, this is a problem. Oh, the other say MD product, yeah. Yeah, MD product always does well. It's really a good product. You finally looked at those. They picked an odd brand to stick a $150 price on. Yeah, they didn't do his research. Next thing you know, we're going to be seeing Stratford and Avon. Like, just stop. Just please stop doing stupid crap like that. Yo, wherever was a cheap pen. I have a few for sale. Some have nice colors and patterns, but that's the only thing going for them. Yes, exactly. Yes. There was like 2 good models. You got an Avon in the junk pile? Yeah. Right. Don't we all? I don't know though. I got rid of a lot of junk. It's making its way to the Raleigh Pen Show this weekend. I might have gotten rid of all the Avons. Although, you know, in my experience, there are actually pens worse than Avon and Stratford's. I mean, it's hard to believe there's a 4th tier. There's a solid 4th tier of just absolute garbage. And experience has taught me that occasionally people do buy those and then need parts, and then I have to supply them with parts. So I try not to get rid of them. Yeah, that was getting a suction, but the sack just popped right off. So sometimes, I mean, I have had to sell wherever parts before. Like the stuff from the 30s is just pure garbage. It's flat tops, plastic shrinks. I mean, it's no fun to work with. All right, who started this? Somebody said who said don't ask me wherever? Huh? All right, this came off. So what you want to do on these, if you're looking at replacing a sack on a 51 Arrow, always squeeze. If you can, number one, you got to get this part off. In this case, this was actually backed all the way off, so it's a good thing I looked at it. You kind of want to squeeze this section nipple. If it's soft and it squeezes, you're done for. Don't take it off. If it's hard, you stand a good chance of being able to get this off. Have I ever heard of Exacompte? Yeah, I've got Exacompte index cards right now. That's about like their best-selling product. Third tier piston fillers. I love this discussion. Third tier piston fillers are the worst. Only good for getting a nib for the parts bin. Yeah. All right. So that did come off. That's good. We're going to replace that. It just looks ugly. We'll take this off. We'll heat that up. We'll get as much disassembled as possible because this one actually doesn't look too bad. We're going to leave that. Okay, so this is a press 4 times, and at 4 times it was most of the way up there. So it fills pretty well. This one actually I have the box and the matching pencil. It's a 51 special. But we'll take the hood off. shell, and then we'll see what's underneath. There's clearly a lot of purple ink or something. All right, and look at this guy. Isn't this cute? It needs a little polish. This is a Wahl 0. Little cute little lever. Cute, tiny little, I mean, look, and the size of my thumb. It's not even as big as my thumb. Marked on the nib 0. Love that. Now we need some heat. Yeah, maybe someday we'll look at some third tier pens just for fun. Just for torture. This is all metal, so I'm going to heat it up pretty hot. Although the section is over hard rubber. So I might actually use my section pliers for this because it's pretty hot. Hard as a rock. That's a good use for section pliers because you got to heat it up and everything is metal, so your hands are going to get hot. So this is a case where I'm going to keep this until we get a replacement sack out here, so we just kind of have a benchmark for at least what was in there the first time. This may or may not be the original sack. No way to really know. But we'll keep it for now. You don't throw it out right away. You know, if it's something you're familiar with, then, you know, don't worry about it. But that in there. Oh, we got to heat on this guy. You know, if it's an Esterbrook J or something, you know, no big deal. But if it's a weird pen, you're not really sure, don't throw it out yet. Because eventually your garbage can is going to start looking like mine, and there's going to be a bunch of old dead sacks in there, and you go in to go try to find it again. And you're not sure which one it is. All right, so I know there's some sealant or something on this. I can kind of see it. If you've got a pen that is really stuck, and I like to have it, hold it right up to I hold my thumbs, this part flush against my body, so that my only movement, and they're almost touching. It's right up here. So there's no, you know, you don't have to worry about holding your arms up. You're really just holding your hands in place. And then I rotate it. If it doesn't come here, I rotate it a little bit. Pull here. Rotate it, pull here, rotate it, pull here. This one I think we're just going to soak. I'm a little nervous based on the way it looks, so start that process. Start our list. All right, so these two are both palladium snorkels. With identical nibs, but this one has sealant residue on a section, and it won't completely come off. I really don't need to write this. It's the only Wahl there, but. Oh, we can throw those in there. This is a good way to, one of the ways I look at sacks. So you see this color here. Should have done this before, but it was feeling kind of flimsy. When I stretched it, there you go. You see how it just turned white? Yeah, this sack is, and then now it's doing that. This sack is ready to fail. If you've already got it apart anyway, you should just replace it, but that's kind of a good test. If it springs back and there's no discoloration, then you know maybe it might be good, but this is the wrong one. I have multiples of these, and this is not the one I'm looking for. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Now, since I have the sack protector off and the sack off, I could just dump this whole thing in the ultrasonic, and then maybe it'll come off easier. And I may just do that, but we'll see. I've got almost nothing to grab onto here. So let's just dump that in there. Let's try this one. I want to like this tool, but I don't like this tool. It just doesn't thread. Handle's not long enough. It digs in right there. It should be, you know, it should come back further. Yeah, it actually cleaned up real, just with a little flush of water. It's much better. All right, we are reduced down to this. Let's get those O-rings out. And a good O-ring doesn't break. It doesn't snap in half. Like this one is coming out nice and easy. Maybe it's okay, but O-rings are cheap. And easy to replace. And these you just throw away right away. You don't want to accidentally get them mixed up with anything else. Clear that little hole. Little wire or toothpick works too. Clean up all these screws. They look pretty good. Except for the one, those are all pretty clean. What am I doing? I gotta put these in first. And yes, they made the companion piece for this tool. And if you buy this tool, you get that companion piece. I have never found it to be very helpful. So what it is, I took a regular screwdriver and then I ground a little notch in the end. And so then that holds. Because in other words, you got nothing for the O-ring just slides around. I think it gives a little more control. Need to put some more silicone in this little squeezy guy here. I don't like how this is threading on this. There we go. Use that excess to lube up the next one. I always keep this little notch there, try to keep it up. I can tell this is a touchdown because so I backed the screw off just so I could get that blind cap on, because otherwise it creates kind of a vacuum. is really hard to get on. So a little different approach than on a snorkel. In that regard. All right, those are good to go. Almost a perfect screwdriver. Almost. Not. Almost. Let's put those point holder gaskets, at least on the two snorkels. Let's see what else we can assemble here. Oh, and they put that 51 back in there. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. That one's still in there. This. That should be everything. All right. You can always tell when a 51's been repaired because the collector never lines up properly with the nib. Yeah, that's good. Let's. That was for that guy. The one with the crud on there was this one, and this one was here. So we'll get to that in a minute. That looks better. Oh my. Usually these open up. There we go. Did I get it? No, I didn't get it. But come on. Problem is if they get stuck and this happens, then it's very hard to get them open because there's nothing to grab here. There's nothing to grab. You don't want to heat it up without a feed in place. And you don't want to heat it up with the feed in place, but not the nib, because then you'll melt the nib. Or about melt the feed. And somehow I managed to exactly line that up correctly. I don't want to use too much heat. This is actually pretty thin. This one's been worked on too. Let's see if this is going to work. The trick here is to try to get this little black piece is what we want to grab. Because if we put pressure anywhere on here, then we just turn the nib off. So I'm going to hold this back a little further. All right, so I'm gonna let it soak. Worst case scenario, I've got other nib units I can use. We'll just let that soak. Okay, so we can at least put that one together. Touchdowns don't need the gasket. All right, that guy's good. Ah, it's 4:45 already. Holy cow. Okay, well, poop. Keep this up. That's pretty loose, so we're just gonna pull that out. Now the trick is to not shove the tool through that hole. Get it at an angle. Just heating it up so it gets soft and will release. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Problem is usually there's silicone on here, so it's really hard to grip this, even with the gripper square. Get lucky. Yes. Oops. Now, you got to watch this. That's where the spring attaches to. Sometimes if you're grabbing it, that slides down. Usually I use the spring and push it. All right. Oh, come on. Tomorrow I'm cleaning my desk. Everything on my bench has a stainless steel handle. You want to be careful not to break off this little part of the feed here that's going through the snorkel tube. So if you're scraping off leftover sack on here, just be careful. That's why I was kind of going at it and picking at it from this way. Just want to see if I can get this open. I'm not gonna use a tool. I'm just gonna see if I can heat it up. And usually if you soak it a little bit, it will. I use this, but not the. And you don't want to pull on it. If it's a Sterling breather tube, you don't want to pull on it too hard because you might snap it off. There we go. Dump that back in there. And that on. And real quick, see if we can get this Sheaffer open, and then that'll be a good end of the day. Or not. Yeah, it's not budging. We're gonna let it soak overnight. I gotta cut out of here anyway. We'll let it soak. But tomorrow we'll hit these guys. We can sack these guys up. Hopefully we get this one apart. Or I have other nib units. Since it was a palladium nib, I have those. Can get these guys back together. And I got a tray some interesting stuff that I pulled out today. So maybe that has been kind of in my to-do list for a while. So maybe I'll get those out just to mix it up. I've got some twist fillers, some British twist fillers. Although I should probably wait till Juicy's here so she can see those. But anyway, that's all I got for today, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Have a good rest of your afternoon, your evening, your morning, wherever you are in the world. Be kind, be well, and we'll catch you tomorrow, all right? Take care, everyone. Bye now.